So I'm actually originally from PHS, so I was born and raised. So I've been here where you guys have been. We got through the same hallways. I was on the swim team, so I was pretty active as a student. And then after high school, I went to upstate New York for undergrad, studied biology, and then moved to San Francisco for graduate school. And then I just moved back about 2 years ago.
That is so nice. Just living in San Francisco. And New York. That's so cool.
So I sort of jumped around, but I think something that's really important and kind of why I'm back is you don't forget your roots. And so even though I lived in cities, I always still had a sense of like a small town person. So you remember those connections. And actually this is part of kind of goes into why we did this, is that as you go into the world, you'll learn that networking is a huge part of where you'll get to places. And all of you sort of already have a head start on that because you come from a small town. So everyone knows each other, everyone knows, more or less what's going on. So you learn to build those relationships. And so this event was created partially from an assessment that we did early on about a year ago. So we asked different stakeholders, some of the youth, what are some of the needs that you all have? And so we got 3 areas, mental health, job exposure, and soft skills life skills. So this event is the job exposure piece. So we heard from you all that you wanted to see what's out there as far as like job opportunities.
He answered my question. Yeah. That's really good what you're doing for the youth of PHS.
Sorry, what was that?
It's really good what you're doing for like the youth of PHS because we don't really see much thing.
Yes.
Like get out there. Yeah, we don't really get out there, and this is good exposure for all of us.
Well, I'm glad that this is helpful for you all. Is there any feedback that you think would maybe make this better, or you would like to see more of?
I think it's good the way it is.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice.
What is all your goals as far as, whether it's going to college or getting a job, or what are your thoughts? Do you all see yourself staying in Vegas, or, transferring out, maybe coming back? Like, have you thought about that?
Yes.
Yeah. What are some, can I get some ideas that you guys have in mind?
I'm moving to San Antonio in the summer by like July, and I'm going to be there for probably at least a year. I don't know, because I went to school to be a esthetician for the skincare and stuff. So yeah. But they said it's better to like go to school in a big town and then come back to your little town because it's like more people, like there's not like a lot of people doing facials and stuff in Vegas.
That's true.
So that's my plan right now.
It's like a business plan, finding your niche, where is there a gap? How do you expand? It's a smart idea.
I would think about social work. Like, I'm gonna move to San Antonio. And then we'll go wherever I'm needed. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It'll be nice to go.
My background's actually in mental health. I'm a licensed therapist, so you're right that you can have a lot of opportunities as a social worker because you could do full-on clinical work, or you could even expand it into other areas. So,
Sorry.
Thank you.
what about the rest of you guys?
My plan is to go to San Angelo for the first 4 years and get a degree in pre-engineering. So I can try and hopefully go to A&M and get my master's in aerospace engineering. And then after that I plan on getting my doctorate, but that's a bit future. And I really want to work for both and maybe NASA.
Steven has a good plan.
It sounds like your peers are surprised.
We know he's really smart.
Yeah.
He's like really smart.
That's awesome.
I'm so indecisive. I don't know what to do. But I wouldn't get out of it. I might come back, but I wouldn't for a long time.
I know I'm biased, but I definitely think it's good to see the world a little bit, you know, whether it's for a long time or short. It gives you a different perspective. It reminds you where you're from, and it's a really good opportunity. So I'm for, you know, whether it's like studying abroad or just traveling, I think it's a really good start. And being indecisive that's totally normal too. I mean, okay. I think I changed careers. When I left here, I was going to be a pharmacist. So when I went to college, all my friends were like, we're doing pre-med. So I was like, okay, I'll just do pre-med. And then realized that I didn't want to do all the schooling. So junior year of college, I decided to do dental. So I switched over, graduated, and then I was shadowing a dentist. And I realized that people don't really like dentists. And I like, you know, to interact with people. And I was like, I don't know, this is going to be good for me. And then therapy. I took some therapy classes. So indecisive is normal. It's okay to change your mind.
Because I feel you like right here.
What about you?
I thought I'd go to college. Hopefully I go to UT. Hopefully get in. I might not, I don't know, it's hard to get in there. And study pre-med. Maybe become a doctor in the future, hopefully. That's my plan.
That's nice. You guys are also diverse in like interests and, you know, ideas, and it's really nice to hear that you have something planned out, even if it's, you know, being indecisive, because that's also a plan, you know, sort of wanting to travel. So it sounds like you guys have a really solid head on your shoulders.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being our guest today. We're going to show y'all around what he has here. We'll get to that.
Thank you guys. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's live?
Yes, I'll talk to him later.
Okay, so we're here at one of the booths. Hello.
How you doing?
What is this booth?
This is in the funeral business, in the funeral industry. And we have some information about some of the two of the schools that are more known a little bit more. One of the schools that I went to was Dallas Institute of Funeral Service, which was a great school that I believe it was a great school. But I learned all this things we had to do about business, embalming, the funeral directing, talking to people. Of course, the breakdown of what it takes to be in a business.
And what are all these tools?
What we have over here is what the instruments that we actually use when we're embalming a body. We go pick up the deceased, bring them to the funeral home, and if they're going to be viewed for a couple of days and do a traditional burial, we'll embalm the body, and these are the instruments that we use. They're very facets of what we have to do to the body to get it in the proper view for viewing. And, you know, make sure that the family looks how their mom, dads, or family members look. Now we have an embalming machine over here where we mix the chemicals that we flush into, we pump into the body and pump out the blood. It changes from the blood to the chemical. And then of course everything that we need to do to make them look professionally just the way they were. Just the way.
How long does that take?
Well, the preparation takes about 30 minutes, give or take, and the embalming takes about an hour. And to get a good results, because they're different, some bodies are not standard embalming. There's different points. Like if you don't get fluid to your arm, you have to open up the brachial artery. So usually around the neck area on this side is where you do the carotid artery and vein. That's where you do the pumping of the chemical and the draining of the fluids.
Do you have any advice to someone wishing to go into this?
the business?
Just to have a strong stomach and in your mind, set your mind that this is what you want to do. Because actually I used to be a welder at a sulfur mine. And then there was a layoff and I wanted, of course I did a lot of EMT work. I did the basic, the intermediate, and I did several other things. Along with that, run the ambulance, first responder. But I needed something more solid. And this came along and I went and signed up and gave me a pretty good living for 25 years.
That's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Cut.
So you're here with another booth, and can y'all tell us what this booth is for?
Yes, I am Dana. I am with Reeves County Hospital District. We are actually looking for lots of positions in the hospital which you can come and experience different areas such as nurse's aid, registration. You can go to business office. We like to take students into radiology, where they can actually see patients having an ultrasound, see what that's all about, or getting an x-ray. We can also do PT, which is physical therapy, dialysis. So lots of different areas in the hospital that we are trying to get students into just to see what they'd like to do in the future. Doesn't mean it's what you're going to do, but there's always that option.
Do you have any advice to anybody wishing to go for this?
For the healthcare? Well, my advice is, starting off, number one is be professional, okay? Don't waste any of these interviewers' time. We set up an appointment. We do expect it to be adhered to because we have so many other individuals that we are either interviewing for or waiting for other options. Okay, so be punctual, be on time, dress professional. That is very important. And always be confident. Shake hands. Okay? And be careful of things that you post. These days, everybody does look and see what type of person you are too. Okay? So be careful of that. Be careful of what you put out there. The things that you like. Okay? As we learned, everybody's watching.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
What jobs? So, what is y'all's booth here? What's y'all's job?
What's our job? I'm a plant coach at our facility in Kermit. Our plant coach is what most people call a supervisor or manager, but we call them coaches because we're here to help our associates learn their positions and to take care of those positions.
Do y'all have any advice to seniors or juniors wishing to pursue a career in this?
Yes, I do. If you're going in for interviews, two statements we have is we ask that appropriate dress be worn when you're going into an interview. First impression that a potential employer sees is your dress when you're coming through the door. Like y'all are dressed today is very appropriate for a job interview. Second is be on time. We ask that it be about 15 minutes early. That way your employer knows, or potential employer knows you're there, getting ready for that position, so they can be set up, ready for that interview. We have about 25% of potential candidates that apply for us don't show up for their job interviews. So if you get there a minute early, the employer probably thinks that you're probably not going to show up. Third, we ask that you should go and research a company that you're applying for. When you research that company, because they're probably going to ask you what you know about their company, it's impressive to that potential employer that you spent time to research the job you're applying for and what you're wanting to do for the company and that you know a little bit about them. have a resume in hand. Even if you have not worked while you're in high school, if you have a resume with what you did in high school, your extracurricular activities, volunteer work, it impresses that employer that they know that they can get to know you before they start the interview process. Do a practice interview. Go to your counselor, your parents. If you know somebody that's a supervisor for another company, then you can interview and get a practice of answering questions in front of a potential employer. And one of the big mistakes is don't bring your phone into an interview. Because even if you have it on silence, it's going to go off and you're going to reach for it. So leave it in your car, leave it away from your interview process.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that wraps it up for another day of Snack Time. Make sure to like, comment,
Subscribe. That was good.
The bell button if you haven't already for notifications.
JK, we'll see you tomorrow.
choose you later.
Choose you later.